And this is where we get a little bit more details than what we could just see in this field.
Yeah. And I'm not an autopsy expert, but I'm trying to picture autopsies in like we're in the 40s
We're
now?
in 47.
47.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
autopsy in 47.
Oof.
How scientific is this?
Right?
Yeah.
It's like getting a root canal in 47. Like, probably not great, right?
History, I'd like to follow me down the rabbit hole. History, I'd like to, frankly, I want to know.
Hello, and welcome to HILF History. I'd like to fuck with Dawn Brody. I'm Dawn Brody, and this is where history is a party, and everybody's coming. Today, a dark page from Los Angeles true crime. All right, come with me to a chilly January morning, 1947. A young mother pushing a stroller calls police about what she thinks is a broken mannequin lying in a field. It's like a frequent place for neighborhood children to play, and she wants it removed before it scares anybody. Now, when the officers arrive, they find not a shop mannequin, but the body of a woman cut completely in half at the waist. She lay naked and drained of blood, her two halves a foot apart, arms draped almost elegantly over her head. Right? Yuck. Now, this unknown victim got a catchy name ripped straight from film noir, the Black Dahlia. Yeah, and it remains one of the longest unsolved murder cases in Los Angeles history and one of the goriest and strangest in America. Hear the story and meet the suspects along with my guest, comedian Kaycee Conlee. She also lives in LA, and like me, she'll probably have a hard time sleeping tonight. You're joining us at my kitchen table. The coffee's hot. Let's get started.
It's time for the percolator.
I know. I made percolated the good coffee, Kaycee. I made you the good coffee in the good percolator.
Oh, you've already sounded like you're making good coffee with that little accent slip.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, girl. And then she plays, Kaycee effortlessly pulls out her 90s
It was from a 90s playlist.
dance party playlist. She's like, it's time for the percolator. Every time I see you in the lineup or in the club or in the green room, it's a genuine like, hi.
I have to say it's mutual. And I think you could probably read it on my face because we usually tend to mirror each other when we see each other.
do.
And I always think, I want to work with Dawn more.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I
every
always
time I get to pick a
always
lineup,
think
I'm like, let's see if she's available. I'd love to have her on. And then we started talking because I forget, maybe it was a show at the Ice House, I think, that we started, you were like, you're really into history. Because I think I'd gone into it on that particular set.
You've always been a fantastic stand-up. You have jokes aside, jokes are great, but also the energy that you bring, you're likable from the jump. Like, I feel like you have this like intangible quality. And then you changed or for the first time I saw you really embrace history as part of the stand-up act, which I always knew you had the podcast.
Yeah.
But to see you bring it into your stand-up, I was like, wow, this works. This feels like you like leaning into what was probably always there, and maybe you felt like, oh, but I have to be this on stage, and this is just my podcast. And I was just like totally like, I need to make sure she knows that this is awesome and she should keep doing this.
It means a lot. And it is one of the, because you nailed it exactly. It's one of those things where I'm self-conscious as a stand-up comedian.
Everybody is.
Right.
Yes.
That
and we always overthink it.
They're bored. They don't want to hear this.
We don't want to typecast ourselves. Like, I don't want to be the history comic, whatever. It's like,
yeah.
But the way that even just you lit up when you were getting into it, and I was like, wow. And I don't consider myself I know who I'm talking to on this podcast. I don't consider myself a history person.
Yeah.
Like, it was actually one of my worst subjects in school.
Oh.
I was terrible at it, and I never cared about it.
Dang.
But you make it so fascinating that I think that's like, to someone who doesn't usually like it, that is that riveted by it. That's telling.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me
I'm
so
just
happy.
like raining on.
No.
This will
I
help your
love it.
listeners like me again. Because
I love it.
I love your host too.
Oh, okay. She's in the club. Mm-hmm. We will let her stay. Well,
Yes.
It means the world. Means the world. And you're a stand-up comedian, but you're also like, you do more than just that. around here. And also you've been in LA for a minute. When did you move here?
I got here in 2009 and I wasn't doing stand-up at all. I wanted to work in television. And I thought I wanted to work in like television production.
Yeah.
And so I, when I moved here, like just after college, and I started working at, I was an NBC page.
Yeah. See, this explains my digging on you. The Tonight Show. You were an
Yep.
associate producer on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, I started as an NBC page, and like I worked in the like backstage helping the stage managers at the Tonight Show, and then eventually got hired as a production assistant.
Yes.
And then worked there for years and climbed the ladder. I had a little backstage show called On the Lot with Kaycee, where I was still dressed as a page, and I would like go and like be on the lot and talk to audience members and like.
Oh man. And this is when like 30 Rock was.
Yes,
so people knew who you were. Yeah.
I would have little bit parts on the show where I was Kaycee the page, just like helping Jay do random stuff. And then, and so like I ended up, when the show ended, I was associate producer. They also call it talent coordinator.
Yeah.
So I was helping producers. They would bring a guest on, right? Like this. And then it's like, what are you going to talk about? What stories are you going to tell? Are we going to show a picture? Are we going to do a game? That kind of thing. So I would help produce those segments. And I did that for a while. I worked in television for quite some time and then realized, hey, I don't want to be making this guest seem funny and entertaining. I just want to be funny and entertaining. I want to be the guest.
Look at me.
Yes.
So had you been in any kind of performing arts before that?
So while I was working the Tonight Show, and I worked at the NFL Network, Oprah Winfrey Network, I worked for the Ellen DeGeneres Show.
Yeah.
All in my
any gossip?
All in my,
you got any Ellen gossip?
Well, suffice it. This is the blanket statement I always say.
Okay, great.
I worked at Ellen for a season. It was like a dream job. I always wanted to work at that show. I got the job. I worked at there one season. I never met her.
Oh, okay.
I was an NBC page at the Tonight Show, and I met Jay like my first or second day.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like that is so telling.
For sure.
Without being like I was maybe victim to any of the stuff, the rumors
Sure.
and stuff. I never even met her, it wasn't the greatest place.
But
to
it
work.
does show that she was not.
It was my dream job. I only worked there one season.
Yeah.
And then, it was not what I wanted it to be. But it led me to stand up. So I ended up, after all this, like these television jobs, and I dabbled with improv, right? Did those like UCB groundlings classes.
Yeah.
Liked that, hated scheduling with my team members, hated that.
Yeah.
And always thought like, I think I'd be funny. I think I'd be a good stand up, but just like scared or shy to try it. I stopped working in television because the hours were too much.
Yeah.
I started a little marketing business.
Yeah.
And I started doing stand up.
Yeah. And you're so good.
Oh my God, you're so sweet.
You're so
Thank you.
good.
So
And you're so funny. And you're doing festivals and you've got
things are, I feel like I get up plenty. I feel like, between 4 or 5 sets a week, usually locally in LA. And I try to go out and do festivals and get out as much as I can.
Yeah.
It's happening. I'm 10 years in now.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I feel like that flew by. Yeah.
And you have a special out, YouTube.
Well, yeah, that's been out for a little while. It's a 10-minute little mini special.
And where was it shot?
At Flappers, a little
It's so
home
good.
club.
And it's called The Gay Girl Next Door.
Yep.
And
That's me.
And that's you. But, I didn't even,
it's
that's
not
just
me
here.
hitting on the gay girl next door. It's me. I am the gay girl next door.
Which, can I say, even more of a big deal that like you're this like beautiful lesbian in Los Angeles
thank you.
working on Ellen DeGeneres and you never met her. Like, I feel like also that's a thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Should
For
I-
it to
should
be
I
your
change my
dream
credit?
job.
Should
and
that be
just
my credit?
to be I'm a beautiful lesbian who worked on the Ellen DeGeneres show for a year and never met her. Like, how shitty is she? Like, prey on me, Ellen, prey on me.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? Can't win them all. It's like you two ruined it for a lot of people to just be like, can I just get a little bit of attention because there's some sexual interest? None?
Nothing. That's interesting. They brought up the sexual interest thing because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about like how to build your following online.
Yeah.
That's an important thing. And somebody was like, well, look at all the people that are like really big. They're like cute or attractive, like, because I'm looking at comics.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, a lot of your examples are like cute boys that have grown these big followings that are like women and gay men.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so I need to I should lean into the fact that I kind of look like a cute boy. And they're like, nope, that's not.
I'm not sure you understood what you're saying. Catfish the people.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll be a little twink for them,
all
whatever
right.
it takes.
Well, let's watch the algorithm.
Let's see how it does.
We'll see how it goes. Well, but and also the cat's out of the bag because not only do you have a wife, she's also a babe.
Oh, I thank you.
And
I must
now
agree.
and you've now announced it in your podcast. You have a new podcast.
Yes.
Called Wife Support.
That's right. She and I host the pod. It's two wives talking about, basically it's like queer life and like being in our 30s, late 30s, I should say. And just like life as an adult. And like our first episode, we talked about codependency. We're talking about being gay at work, friendships.
People respond to authenticity.
Right.
And what's more authentic than like, this is my house, my wife, my, talking about our shit. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's called Wife Support. I'm doing a video version and an audio version. So you can listen to it on all your favorite audio podcasts. It's all out there. Then you can also watch it on YouTube if you'd like.
And then you can see how cute they really are.
Oh my God. That's so sweet.
Are you ready, Kaycee Conlee, to get into the dark page of LA history?
If this story doesn't keep me up at night, this coffee will.
Nothing really calms the nerves of a good murder story.
I am percolating.
It's time for the percolator.
I wish you knew I'm probably going to start sweating. I don't do a lot of caffeine.
Okay, do you want some cocaine? I do like to start off with my sources, as you know.
Okay, that's
so that
good.
people
That's
know
important.
that I did my fair share of Googling. Who doesn't?
Yeah. I have a quick anecdote about the topic.
Yes,
that's
please.
not going to be related later. So can I get it out of the way?
I can't wait to hear it. Yes, ma'am.
So, as you may or may not know, I play a lot of basketball. Basketball's like always been my thing. I walked in and saw your hoop outside.
And we're like, yes.
So I play in a variety of basketball leagues around the city, which I've played in since moving here, 2009. And one of the leagues I played in it was like a Tuesday night Hollywood league. And they were like, we need more players. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'd love to hop on your team. And they gave me the jersey the first day I walked in, and they're like, and the team name in the front of it, the Black Dahlias. That was our basketball team name. And that was, and I was like, I'm sorry.
Is
and
this in
by the way,
reference?
didn't know what it was. Never heard of it. I was like, what is it? Was
you were like cute.
yeah. I was like, it's like a flower. This is so pretty.
Nice.
And they're like, it was a woman who was murdered.
What did they give you an explanation for why this was your team's name?
I never got a ton of backstory. I was asked about it a lot. And I finally just started saying, because we'll murder you.
Great. Our dunks are murder.
Yeah.
Were you by any chance located near Lamert Park?
No, but it was a Hollywood league. So we played in like Hollywood area. Where's Lamert? I don't know what that is.
Lamert is sort of near Inglewood.
Oh, so no, not even remotely.
Okay, well.
But that was when you told me the topic and I was like, oh, I played for them.
You were like, in a manner of speaking, I am a suspect. I am related to this case.
Yes.
I am now a footnote in this case. Do you still have the jersey?
No. I didn't want to keep that.
Okay. Well, you definitely will not want to keep it after this. Yeah. This has been the best of times and the worst of times researching this history. Like a lot of like dark HILFs, it's that you can't look away. It's just so bad, and you're like, why am I doing this? But
I have that natural instinct of when it's something bad, I want to get I just can't stop sleuthing. I need it all, and that's how I process. Is like just give me all the information.
Yeah, and what you kind of hope is that there's an end. Like you're going to get to a point where you've heard it all and you've gotten all of the information, and then you're just like, oh my good Lord, this thing happened so long ago, and it just sort of self-generates, and every decade there's more, and it's more. It's exciting. And there are a gazillion sources. So the two I'm going to mention here, you'll link to them if you go to our show notes. One is a great 48 Hours documentary. It came out in 2004, so over 20 years old. And but
that was like
still
the
stands.
Real journalism, storytelling.
Proper journalism.
Yes.
Yeah. They are interviewing everybody. They're giving counterpoints.
Those docs were around before Netflix decided that an hour-long one could be 3 episodes.
Correct.
So
and
it's succinct, I bet. I bet it's detailed. I know. I bet it's well done.
It's one episode. It's 48 minutes long.
It's amazing.
You can see where they put the commercials, but you don't have to endure the commercials. It's lovely. And you get a really good visual point for the stuff that is still modern enough that you can see the 1940s overlaid on the LA that we know today. And so it all has context and stuff.
Okay.
There's been a gazillion books on it. The one that I read is by Pew Eatwell. It's called Black Dahlia, Red Rose, and it came out recently. It is really, really great because it outlines not just what's going on in LA in that year of 1947, but like the depth of the police corruption at the time and how that plays a role in it. She does come to a conclusion. She
nice.
she names a suspect and then gives a lot of supporting evidence for who she thinks that suspect is. We will get there, but there's a lot of people who counteract that. So here's my plan.
Okay.
With all of this stuff. Okay. First, you and me are going to meet the Black Dahlia, the victim. We're going to get to know her. Elizabeth Short. She has a name, and we're going to know who this woman was before she became your jersey, your basketball jersey, among many other things. We're going to get the details of the murder, the crime scene. Yes, what we know happened to her and what we know did not happen to her, because there was a lot of misinformation around this. And then we're going to get into some of the theories and my favorite suspects.
Oh, okay. Which is different than the book?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I will
fascinating.
include who she says, but that's not the only one. Not the only one. And so, Kaycee Conlee, to get us into the mood,
Yes.
we are going to start with a story. So come with me, bring your coffee. We're going to Medford, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Here we go.
We're going to go visit our good friend Phoebe. And we're just going to have a little coffee with Phoebe, because we try to do this every once in a while, because Phoebe is having kind of a terrible time of it. She has this bad luck in her life, okay? She's a single mother with 5 daughters. She's just always kind of struggling. Bad luck here, bad luck there. And as we're sitting and chatting about life, she gets a phone call. And as we're watching her on the phone, we can tell this is good. Like, things are turning. Her face brightens immediately, and she goes, I am Elizabeth's mother, and she's won a beauty contest. She's so excited. Yeah, okay. And she starts to say things like, yes, she's always been beautiful, and she always loves wearing silk stockings and the brand of her silk stockings. And yes, she's always been a great older sister. And, and we're just like with our coffee, like, go Phoebe, go Elizabeth, and she's like, yes, you know what? I could probably recall the name of some of her boyfriends she dated. And what is this magazine? What is the magazine that she's won the beauty contest for? Okay, yes. Okay, she definitely was into cheerleading, and she loved to eat. And how much? You said there's prize money. That's so exciting. How much is the prize money? And we are like, wow.
Things have turned around.
This is so great. And we're just thinking, gosh, I'm so glad we were here to hear this. And then as we're watching, we see Phoebe's face start to change and fall. And she's so quiet, and she sits down because, of course, her daughter Elizabeth did not win a beauty contest.
God.
She's been found dead. Now, she does not know the brutality of the death of her daughter yet. These people who called her, Kaycee, they're not the police. They are not even murder investigators. They are journalists from the Los Angeles Examiner who knew they were the first people to call the mother of a brutal murder victim. And as they picked up the phone to call, said to each other in the office, oh, shoot, we can't just start with your daughter's dead, or we won't get all those details that we're trying to scoop. Was she single? What'd she like to wear? What was her favorite perfume? Did she sleep around? Was she ever in trouble? So we have to think of someone exactly.
Well, no wonder the Examiner's not around anymore.
Word, right?
They examined her.
And they were
sorry. I couldn't.
Totally. No, I mean, these practices are illegal for a reason. And among them is because of the obvious trauma of this kind of stuff. And I start our story with that. Not with the scene of the crime. I start a story with her mother getting that phone call.
Well, that was the start of the story for her.
Exactly. And because I think it is among the most brutal parts of this whole story. And because I found, it's funny, I told Kaycee, I was like, I didn't know I was going to be researching this history. And then I found it so interesting, I went down the rabbit hole. And as I'm falling, I'm yelling in my own ear, you hate this shit. Like, why am I doing this? I don't like true crime.
Yeah.
Because it's so bad. And this story is awful for 3 reasons. 1, it's a horrible, brutal, gory murder. 2, it's unfucking solved. And 3, that phone call, that media, we, the citizens, lowercase italics, us, who consume media, who am going down the rabbit hole the same way everyone who was picking up these newspapers was doing the same fucking thing. We're complicit.
Yeah.
Kinda.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the people reading the newspaper, the Examiner, about her favorite perfume and boyfriends and stuff didn't know how they got the information.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why it's so bad.
Yeah.
And it's saying something that you already know. She was found cut in fucking half. Like, we know that this isn't great. And the fact that just about everybody agrees that the way she was treated after her death was almost worse than the way she died. You know, come on.
Yeah.
All right. So because of that, I want to start again with our girl, Elizabeth Short. All right. So we met her mom. Terrible day.
Yeah. Poor Phoebes.
Poor Phoebes. And she's still got 4 girls.
I know.
She's got to deal with all on her own, right? So Elizabeth Short. Okay. Childhood, great. Huh?
Cheerleader.
Let's hear it for childhood. Up
Yep.
until she's 6, she's got her 4 sisters. Amazing. I only have 2 sisters. I can assume it only
have
gets
2
better.
sisters too.
You do. You're the baby.
I am.
We're the babies of 3 girls.
Oh my
love
gosh,
it, love it, love
yes.
it. And I'm just like, man, more sisters the merrier. I would take 10 more sisters. I love my sisters so much. They have a nice house. Her parents love each other and are good to each other. I know. Her dad
Idyllic.
makes mini golf courses.
Oh my gosh.
So
a lost art.
I know. So here's Elizabeth
I think
Short.
they made them all. They're done now. But
They're done. They made them. It's like pens. We don't need any more. She is just getting her hair braided by some beautiful sister of hers and playing mini golf all day in a beautiful house in Medford. I mean, let's hear it for Elizabeth. Until 1929 stock market crash.
okay.
Threw a lot of wrenches into a lot of fans, of course. As no one's playing mini golf in the Depression, okay?
I'll say.
So her dad's car is found parked at the top of the tallest bridge in town.
No.
He's dead. He gone. Dad's just poof. Okay? And mom is now not only without the income and the support of a spouse, she's raising these 4 girls in the Depression by herself.
Yep.
They keep moving into like smaller, worse housing, right? Then our girl Elizabeth gets a lung infection bad enough that she's got to get fucking surgery in the fucking 30s.
Oh my gosh. You had to like remove it? Remove a lung?
It wasn't a
You
full
look into
removal.
that.
I didn't know. I
That's
don't
not
think
what this is about.
No. I don't think she actually had the lung completely removed, but there was. I think part of it had to be excised, cleaned out.
Who knows?
Bad. Who knows?
Why am I asking about the surgery?
I don't know, but that's exactly the kind of stuff I'm into because that's the kind of links I follow. And then they're like, nothing's easier than telling a poor woman in Massachusetts that one of your daughters has to go to a more temperate climate, Miami, which I'm like, oh. I get that it's cold in Massachusetts, but like, have you been to Miami, girl? Like,
I know. I'm trying to picture Miami in the 30s. Miami.
Kind of Miami. Yeah, exactly. So this is not great, right? In the midst of this childhood, 12 years after her father's death, right? She is now 18 years old. She and her mom are walking down the center of town, and her dead dad is walking towards them.
No.
Yeah. He says to Phoebe, I am so sorry about that.
What?
I didn't die, obviously. I ran away. And I was in Los Angeles all that time. So soupy sorry.
What?
Right? So Phoebes.
Wait, did he find them or it was like an accidental bump into?
So here's the thing. I have 2 versions of this story that I've read in equal measure. One is that she got a phone call from him. The other is that he walked up to her in the middle of town. I think walking up to her in the middle of town is more interesting, so I went with that one.
Yeah, but
and it's
so
the
he
one
must
that
have been
Huey,
looking for. So he was looking for.
It's where he left them.
To say soupy sorry.
Because they moved to smaller, exactly. They moved to smaller and smaller housing, but always stayed around Medford, Massachusetts. So he just came back to where he had left them. Just came home and found them, without too much trouble. And Phoebes is like, fuck you.
Good for Phoebes.
Yeah. Oh, Phoebe is like, you know what?
Fuck you with a capital PH.
Look to me like you're coming in with a lot of money. So we are what you call another mouth to feed. You still need me, don't you, bitch? Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good for Phoebe.
Yeah. Phoebe's better on her own. Now, Elizabeth, on the other
dick.
hand, is like, Daddy.
Oh.
He died when
in her
she
mind,
was 6.
Yeah.
And now she's 18 and he's in LA.
That's exciting. That's interesting. This is a chance at that's a temperate climate for her little lungs.
You are ticking them all off. Exactly. Hey, Mom, I get a chance to meet my dad I thought was dead, that we all mourned and sanctified because, of course, he didn't run off. He died. So we've been spending the last 12 years talking about what a hero he was and how wonderful he was and how great he was. And I'm sure he has his reasons. And I get to go to LA and get out of here. I'm so beautiful. This is going to be great. And so she goes to LA to live with her dad, how long do you think she was able to stay with him before it all fell apart? We know it's not long, but how long do you think?
I want to say 6 months.
2 weeks. This prick.
That's not even a long vacation. That's not even a summer.
I wish I knew, to be a fly on the wall, but you have to know that he was like, you can't go out. And she was like, I'm so sorry. You pretended to be dead.
Yeah. Also, wait, why even let her come back with you? That's got to be he felt like he needed to win something against Phoebe. And so taking, because he didn't want her. He just wanted maybe if I take Elizabeth, she'll, change her mind and take me back. And then after 2 weeks, he was like, oh, crap.
Oh, crap. I'm sure he was desperately broke. I mean, I don't think he came back because of love and regret. I think he came back because he was like, shit.
Yeah.
She's got a place to live. She's been making it work as a dressmaker and a book.
These kids.
This prick.
Surely me, I'm just one extra little mouth.
I'm just, exactly. And she'll be so glad to have me back.
What a male ego.
2 weeks. So God bless Elizabeth. He hoped for the best.
He was giving her a good dicking, and she was like, no,
wow,
I can find my own. Thank you.
I've been doing great. This bed feels real good with just me in it, buddy. And you're going to want me to clean for you.
Yeah. She's like, I actually want to go back to the story of I'm a widower, or I'm a widow. That was better for me.
That was much better. Story. I got all the, so you can imagine, this is why we were over there with our coffee. Poor Phoebe. All right.
Okay.
So, but here's Elizabeth now. Mm-hmm. So she's been out to LA. Her dead, not dead dad sucks. She's got this lung condition. She's also a burden on her mother. Among the reasons she's trying to figure out a way to make her life on her own is because of her poor mom. She doesn't need to give her one more reason. And it's boring in Medford, Massachusetts. And it's kind of thrilling out here in LA. So if we just want to have an interesting life, that's also it, right?
Mm-hmm. She's already there too. I feel like it's not to be discounted that it's like the 30s. And I feel like travel between those places is not easy.
Thank you.
Inexpensive.
It's not easy and inexpensive now. It's opposite sides of the country. Exactly right. So when her body was discovered, the assumption was because she was a beautiful young woman in Los Angeles who went out on a lot of dates.
Oh, God.
The assumption was she is an actress and a prostitute. Some combination of these two things. And it's so pervasive, Kaycee, that even because I'm familiar with her for a while, started to think she was kind of an actress, wasn't she? Because she's described as a Hollywood starlet, a Hollywood wannabe, a movie star. This is subtext. She was out here seeking her dreams, following her dreams.
But she was just there for her dad.
And I was thinking, I'm sure I saw her in a screen test. In the footage and all the pictures, I'm sure I saw her doing a Hollywood screen test or some kind of audition. She was kind of trying to be an actress. No.
None of that.
Anything I saw was in recreations, fictionalized films, weird sketches and drawings. She had no interest. There was no evidence that she ever had any interest. If she could make money as a model and pose for something, it's possible. She had portraits, but everyone in high school had portraits. These are high school portraits. You look in the 1940s, everyone has the picture with the pearls, and I'm showing my friend Kaycee her portrait.
Oh, Elizabeth.
She's lovely. Mm-hmm. She's got a big, beautiful mane of curly black hair. She's got the red 40s look. I mean, she's beautiful. But you can be female and beautiful.
And live in LA.
And not have any interest in being an actress. That does not seem
wife.
Exactly.
This actually makes it important that you told those details about, I'm sure there's other reasons too, but the dad, the circumstance that got her to LA, everybody assumed, I'm sure, follow her dreams of being a star. And I was like, no, her almost thought dead dad came back out of the woods and brought her to LA.
And it was good for her lung condition. Okay. Yeah. And then now she's out here just literally trying to
living.
Figure what most women were doing. And this is where you got to look at the time and space you're in. Okay. What she needed was a husband. Mm-hmm. And that's the goal.
That's what she was doing. She was dating.
She's looking for a husband. And here's the trick out here. In post-World War II Los Angeles, you have a lot of men who want sex, because they're in port for a while. They're really far away from home, right?
Is that the excuse right now,
women,
too? Because that's all they want now, too, right?
Exactly, right? And you have women who are looking for a husband. And so this game is being played where the women are trying to be beautiful enough that you take me out for dinner and you want to know more about me. And
Wine
maybe
and dine me.
you want to wine me and dine me and show me off to your friends. And no, I'm a nice enough girl to marry. So there's this hard to get dance, this insufferable.
It's like the women are on Hinge and the men are on Tinder. And there's a disconnect.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's such a beautifully made
Or maybe the women
modern
are on like
example.
Match or eHarmony even.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
the men are on Tinder. They're just out there for some casual sex.
Precisely.
And it's just not lining up.
And there is prostitution. If you, fella, just want to get a sure thing who will fuck you, girl, you go talk to Bobby down at this place. He's got cabins and girls lined up. You will find that. And if you women don't want a husband, you want an income from a pimp who's going to keep you safe and you're going to start making money having sex, you go do that. And there's plenty of places to do that in LA. She didn't do that.
Right.
What she did was go on a lot of dates and they would pay for her meals because she was fucking hungry and she was charming.
Yeah,
the men,
she was swiping. She was just doing her thing.
And we got photographs with these guys, which we tracked down all these guys. None of them paid her for sex.
Nope.
Some of them, most of them said they never had sex with her. They kissed her. They tried to get her to come back with them. And she said no.
Yeah, because she was trying to find a husband. She's like, we got to wait for date 4, 5, 6 minimum.
Correct. There was one, Gordon guy.
Oh, of course his name was
that
Gordon.
she met in London. He was a flyer and he wrote to her and he wrote to her all the time. And then he has a non-fatal plane crash. And while he's recovering in the hospital, he proposes. He says, when I get back to LA, girl, let's get married. And she accepts. And then he gets into another plane crash and dies.
No, Gordon.
I know. So we know she didn't do drugs, especially because of her lung condition.
Yeah, she was on the straight and narrow. She was just trying to set her life up.
Yeah. Let's join hands now with Elizabeth, and we're going to just do her last 7 days alive.
Okay.
Okay, because we don't know. Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's do it. Because we don't know a lot. There's a lot about her life that we don't know. And there's a lot of evidence that is gone forever. I'll get to that later. Like, why don't we have her letters and her journals? Like, why are they all they're gone? Okay. So there's a lot that's a mystery. But this last 7 days before her body is found, we kind of know a lot. And I'm going to tell you that now.
Okay.
At this time, the week before she goes missing and is then found dead, she is renting a room behind the Florentine Gardens nightclub on Hollywood Boulevard, which, by the way, is still the Florentine Gardens nightclub.
Wow.
And you can go dancing there tonight.
That's crazy.
If you want to, only it's going to be more percolator than big band, of course. But they're not doing percolator there anymore.
It's not the 90s. We recorded this podcast in 1992.
Thank you so much. She's got like 5 roommates. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And they're
Okay, so
all
she's
women in
really-
a similar deal where we're like, fuck.
They're all out there hustling, swiping on the apps.
Hustling,
They're
we need
trying
a
to get
husband.
it.
We're
Yeah.
from various places in this country.
Hustling, but not hustling. You know
And
what I
some
mean?
of them were aspiring actresses.
Oh, okay.
Of course,
naturally.
right? But and they're also the ones who are like, no, she was not. Like,
Yeah.
come on. So they're going on dates to eat, not to fuck. Okay. One of her last contacts had been in San Diego. She had gone with a girlfriend up to San Diego because they had like a short contract waitressing at some nice nightclub, needed girls. So they went up there to take that job. That job fell apart. She has nowhere to go and is found in a movie theater by the woman who like runs the tickets at this movie theater. And the movie theater is like shady. And a lot of times people do sleep there overnight. And as she's like looking through she sees there's this girl in there all by herself. And so she's like, you should not sleep here overnight. Come home with me and my mama. And like stay with us.
Yeah.
And so Elizabeth Short stays with them, but like a little too long. And eventually the mom is like, we love you so much, you have to go.
Yeah.
So she had made friends with this guy who named Red, and he was going back to LA, and she had gone on a couple of dates with him. And so she was like, can I go back with you? And he says, yes. They stop at a hotel on the way back. Do not have sex. In fact, his story never changes. He's like, I tried. He's like,
Yeah.
I wanted to. He's like, but it was really cold. It's January. And she got kind of sad and just like sat by the radiator with her legs kind of up by the wall, just trying to stay warm. And whenever I kind of came onto her, she was like, thank you, no. And okay. They eventually get back to LA and he drops her off at the Biltmore Hotel on January 9th.
Obviously, this shouldn't be commended because it should be like, obviously, but my compliments to Red for not, respecting
Totally.
the consent there.
That's right. Red's wife
Oh,
wasn't as stoked, but
I knew I shouldn't commend him for basic human rights and being a human being.
I know.
I knew I shouldn't.
I
and
know. What are you
going
going to do? He even says in his interview, he's like, I just got married and I admit I picked her up as kind of a test on myself to see if I could stay loyal to my wife. Shut the fuck up, Red. We're all glad you didn't kill her or fuck her, but like, you're no hero. But he drops out and the staff of the Biltmore Hotel sees her. So this is how you and me, right, we're piecing together this last week. And then she goes to the Crown Grill Cocktail Lounge and the staff
nice.
there sees her. She does not go where she told Red she was going to go, which was back to her Florentine room.
It sounds like maybe she was telling Red that, but that was her house. I was like, maybe she was just trying to throw him off to get she got her ride home and...
Exactly. It's dropped me off a block away from my house. Yeah, who knows? Exactly. Or she was like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm going to need a date tonight. So I need you to drop me off somewhere where I can have a meal. And that's going to be here instead of at my house. You know what I mean? So the staff sees her there on January 9th. There are no known or confirmed sightings of Elizabeth Short anywhere by anyone until she turns up dead almost a full week later.
Whoa.
It is January 15th, 6 days later in the early morning that her body is discovered. Okay. And here is the scene. Okay. Once our police come and go, oh my, that's not a shop mannequin. They see why, even from not too far of a distance, you would think so. She was absurdly white. Okay. In addition to being severed completely in half at the waist, with her legs a foot away from the top of her body, her skin is eerily white because she has been completely drained of blood.
I was going to guess that because I have been a true crime fan for some time. And I've heard, I was like, whoa, white. I was like, I bet they drained her.
They did. And there's no blood on the scene.
Yeah.
And there's no blood on the scene. So obviously she wasn't there.
She was dumped, yeah.
She's completely naked. She's been dead. The guess is about 10 hours. There's flies, but there's no decomposition.
Would that change, by the way? I wonder if her being like bled would change the decomp time or any of that.
They have, I think there's more like the orifices and the growth of the larvae. I think there's other things, even at this stage, that how they can kind of estimate that. Her body has been washed. So there's not only no blood on the scene, there's no blood on her, no dirt on her. I mean, she's been scrubbed, we find out later.
This is like a true psychopath.
Her face has been slashed at her mouth in what is called then the Glasgow smile. We now know it's the Joker. It's about a 3-inch gash on either side of her mouth. Lots of cuts on her body, including one of her breasts. There's like a square of flesh missing from her thigh. Other small superficial cuts. The lower half of her body, as I said, is about a foot away from the top half, and her legs are completely spread open, and all of her intestines have been sort of neatly tucked under her butt.
Oh, God.
I know. Okay. Her hands are over her head and sort of an elegant, I mean, they're posed. They look like they've been posed in sort of a like, ta-da, yeah, sort of way. And her hair is sort of laying over her arms. It is fucking shocking. I'm going to ask your permission if you'd like to see one photo.
Oh, gosh.
It is not the worst one, but it gives you the idea of what was discovered. I'm showing Kaycee a picture of a 1947 journalist taking a picture of the body of Elizabeth Short.
I will say, I know I just admitted to being a true crime fan. I'm not the kind that usually looks at the crime scene photos, so that was a lot.
I don't either, except for this one.
You had to do your due diligence.
I had to do my due diligence. And I ain't going to put this, listen, I know you guys will go to my Instagram and stuff. If you want to find the picture,
you can find it.
You can do it. I ain't going to put it inadvertently on my feed. But, you know, the internet is a deep, deep, deep hole. So we have now met Elizabeth. We know she did. We have seen the horror of the revelation of how she died. And when we come back from the break...
Oh, what a tease.
Ooh, I know, right? We're going to find out more about what they discovered in the following autopsy and who the fuck might have done it.
This is such a good tease.
Oh, thank you. Hey, now before we start hunting down these suspects, a moment for those to whom I entrust my hardest cases. My patrons. The latest to jump in bed with the pod include Kit S. and Jen H. Now, these individuals, above average in every way, help provide me with the books, subscriptions, and applications that I need to keep the history coming again and again. To be counted among their honored ranks. Find out more about the live shows, buy HILF merch, and oh so much more. Head over to patreon.com/HILF podcast or at HILF podcast on all social media. And
Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow. Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow.
Here we go.
we're back. Do you remember where we left off?
Yeah, your tremendous tease.
She dead, bitch. This bitch is dead.
Yes.
I don't want
she's-
to call her a bitch.
No, you
feel
mean it in like the
terrible.
snappy way.
That's right.
Like slay, bitch.
Slay, but this bitch is dead. Like, she
Yeah.
kills. She dead, but she kills.
We took back that word.
We did,
So,
that's right.
yeah, she can be the one in the
Perfect.
best way.
That's exactly the validation that I needed.
Eliza bitch.
Elizabeth's dead. Yeah, that's right. And they don't even know her name yet. I mean,
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
other thing. You know what I mean? Is this just like white, like bleat? Oh,
Yeah.
God. They get her two pieces. They take all these pictures and they take Elizabeth's two halves of her body in for the autopsy. Ugh. And this is where we get a little bit more details than what we could just see in this field.
Yeah. And I'm not an autopsy expert, but I'm trying to picture autopsies in like we're in the 40s
We're
now?
in 47.
47.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
autopsy in 47. How scientific is this?
Right?
Yeah.
It's like getting a root canal in 47, like probably not great, right? This official term for being cut completely in half, as our friend Elizabeth was, is called a hemicorporectomy. It has a technical term.
And that's where it was cut
Where
specifically?
it's cut, yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's the medical term for right in the middle there.
Yeah.
And it's and you've got to cut just right. The reason there's a word for it is because this is occasionally done intentionally in the worst case scenarios to save lives. In that instance, through injury or some kind of advanced cancer, where you need to cut off everything from the lower intestine down, you can
But
do this.
maintain function and have,
Heart, brain, and lungs are functioning. And to do that, you got to slice exactly within a certain part of the intestine and then through not just the vertebrae, but specific vertebrae and in the soft tissue. So Elizabeth was not macheted in half.
no.
What they could tell in this autopsy is that she had a
Meticulous.
hemicorponectomy. She was sliced.
Which I know from my true crime brain means that our suspect has to have some kind of medical background or medical training. I'm here for
Come on, Sherlock. Yes,
go.
I want that. I want all that. I want all your true crime stuff coming in. So
Okay.
yes, you and the detectives are like, this was not.
This is specific.
This is specific. This is almost definitely a surgeon, and they're good
Yeah.
because this is clean, right? And here's what else we know looking at her. She had been hung up by her wrists for a while. We can see some ligature marks. And they think she was posed after death, but it also would explain why her arms were sort of artificially stretched out over her head, perhaps because during her death, that was the position that she was in. Her skull is not fractured, but it's bruised. So she had been hit in the head significantly.
Maybe knocked unconscious.
Possibly, we hope so.
Yeah,
We know the cause of death, they assume, is from the blows to the head and the slices in her mouth.
Really?
Contributed to blood loss and shock. And that's
Okay.
what killed her. That's the determination of the coroner at this point.
That gives me some hope that maybe she didn't suffer.
That's the idea. That's kind of right. Exactly. That maybe this happened early on. Her anal canal is slightly dilated. There are foreign objects in both her anus and her vagina. There's also a gaping 4.5-inch wound from her navel to her groin, but no organs are missing.
Okay.
Okay.
But they were, like you said, some of them were like tucked up underneath her butt.
Yeah, which almost feels like it's for the discovery.
For the view.
For the view.
So
exactly.
that they wouldn't like impede his or the suspect's whatever artwork.
That's the idea, because she is spread eagle, completely naked in a place where she'd be found. I mean, this seems like you got to put both pieces there one at a time. So this feels very, everything about it feels
trying to say
enormously
something.
deliberate.
Yes.
She has also been scrubbed clean with gasoline. Okay, kind of bleach and gasoline, specifically her orifices. And they found some brushes, like bristles, pieces of brushes behind, which were very common. There was nothing about this brush that was unusual. So the brush itself and the fibers from the brush didn't really help them. But knowing that she had been scrubbed clean.
Yeah, which also feels very surgeon-like to like, do you know what I mean? That feels like an operation.
So now we're going to try to solve this thing, you and me. And I'm no detective. Here's what I know. Probably not a suicide. Do you know what I mean? There's some things we can rule out.
Yes.
Accident.
Nope.
Probably not. So what do we got? We got fingerprints in the 40s.
Okay.
Which I find, as they were talking about this fingerprint stuff, Kaycee, I was like, they're just holding up things to match the fingerprints. Like in addition,
oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like in addition to not having a ton of fingerprints from everyone, the way you find a match is just hold and being like looking.
Like put it up like an X-ray, like on top of one another to be like, is this a match?
So that's real time
Because
consuming.
there's no like computers.
None.
Oh my
Nothing even
gosh.
remotely like it. I mean, they're really stoked because they have something like a fax. So they were able to like send some like fax machine style images to each other, and that was considered like crazy futuristic stuff.
But she was scrubbed clean. Where are the fingerprints coming from?
Well, we get her fingerprints. And this is what's so great, right? Because our friend Elizabeth, bless her heart, got arrested once in Santa Barbara for underage drinking. So let's hear it for
Man,
that.
she seems like she would have been fun.
I know.
But she was a good time.
I know.
Yeah.
And also she was over 18.
Yeah.
And it's Santa Barbara. Have you ever been to Santa Barbara?
Yeah.
You get a buzz just crossing into some lines. This is like, she probably didn't do it on purpose. But let's hear it for it because, yes, her fingerprints are on file. That's the only reason they have them on file. And
so they can identify her.
So they identify her. And those fingerprints.
Everybody get
Go ahead.
Get nabbed for underage drinking. Make sure you're on record.
Exactly. Like stay clean, but not so clean that if they find you cut in half in a field, nobody knows who you are.
Yeah. You got to have something out there.
Something in the system.
Now I chose I used a 23andMe, so I'm out there. I'm in the system.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I keep trying, I'll get arrested eventually. But so far, people just keep being like, "You get out of here, you minx! You were clearly."
If you want to buck the mom tradition,
I know.
If you really want to do it,
every time I go to the airport, I'm like, I got drugs everywhere. Nobody even cares. Nobody even looks at me, fuckers. Yeah. I'm very suspicious.
They're like, we can tell you're responsible.
God damn it.
Those are prescribed.
Those are prescribed. Like, not all of them. God damn it. I could be a threat if I tried. But they have Elizabeth's fingerprints. This is part of the reason why we, at the very top of this story, have the newspapers able to scoop it, because this is a very corrupt time, a very corrupt city. So somebody's got the fingerprints on this girl that's valuable, right? So they sell it to the newspaper. Here's her name and address, or here's her name, here's her identity.
Anything for a buck.
And the idea is, I'm going to pay you so you give this to the police tomorrow morning. Right? Let us have 24 hours where this is our scoop so that we can call this poor woman and destroy her. Okay. Yeah. And by the way, the fuckery with the LA Examiner and Phoebe didn't end there, because after, and I would have like lit my hair on fire. You know what I mean? They say to her at the end, oh, sorry, she's dead actually. However, they came clean on that. Then they say, we're going to fly you out to LA.
No.
To help us with this investigation.
What?
So she comes out to LA, and instead of letting her help with the investigation, they keep her cloistered in a hotel room. Don't let her talk to any other news media.
Their exclusive witness
They're
or something?
trying to keep her as their exclusive witness. And then to make matters worse, all of the humanizing information that they get from Phoebe, they throw completely out the window and continue to print sex fiend, prostitute, Hollywood starlet shit. because that's what's going to get the
selling.
readers.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, there's a reason why this shit
Fuck
is
you,
illegal.
Examiner.
Yeah, totally. William Randolph Hearst.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't have to be illegal. I mean, common decency would dictate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, there's no reward. They found the reward worth it. And if it's one of those, well, we hate it too, but it is the way it is. If we don't do it, then the star will do it. You know what I mean?
Ugh.
But this is also where it gets a little interesting, because as gruesome as we already know, this Black Dahlia thing is like, oh my God, she's cut in half for blood and fucking what? This is not like that crazy. Dead bodies, torsos, murders in LA are frankly happening all the time. This thing's nuts. The mystery of this
Really?
girl, her particularly, I mean, this is nuts, but not as nuts as you'd think for how long we've been talking about it. You would think finding a dead woman brutally murdered in LA must have been completely rare.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't that rare.
One of my true crime questions was, this MO seems to be really specific. Are there other murders, like cases, like similar to it, with
And
like
it's so
gasoline,
specific.
bleach, cleaning,
Right.
or any of the really specific parts of it? Could they link it to other murders? Because this doesn't seem like a one-off.
Exactly. And this is kind of stuff that we're writing in our little notebooks.
Yeah.
Right. And also some of the stuff they're not sharing with anyone, because the cops who do want to solve this, and they do want to solve this, are like that there's stuff in the orifices. I told you that.
No.
They didn't, and not just out of any kind of sense of decency, because like in all investigations, you want there to be things only the murderer could know. Things that they can corroborate that were not shared anywhere. And that was like one of the things, right? But it starts to, after a few weeks, you know who she is, but there's no, we find Red. Okay. The last guy to have seen her, they interview Red. Definitely not him. His story never changes. There's no physical evidence. All these pictures, these guys she's dated, none of them were around. They all have alibis. I mean, we have run into a dead end, and it kind of looks like this is a crazy story that's going to disappear. And then Kaycee Conlee.
Well, I was actually going to ask about motive, but there's a big,
Right? And what is the motive? She has no money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This would have to be.
This feels like someone who's just a psychopath.
Psychopath.
Okay.
All of a sudden, the LA Examiner gets a phone call from a very creepy voice that's generally like, just want to congratulate you on all the good work you've been doing on this Dahlia case. I am the killer, and you should look forward to getting some souvenirs. Expect them soon. Okay.
Whoa.
Now,
Well, you mentioned a piece of skin missing.
right. And this is kind of thrilling for a million reasons. Among them, let's not forget, dude, the newspapers are exclusively interested in selling newspapers.
Yes.
And they were starting to lose the thread of the Dahlia murder. And then a weirdo calls on newspaper and says, expect souvenirs. There's suspicion to this day. Why did this phone call come in at this particular time to this particular thing? However, psychologists and criminal psychologists counter that immediately with the killer probably noticed that the attention had gone off too. And they laid out this body to be found in a very dramatic way, they may very well have been like, come on, keep talking about me.
Interesting.
So,
That's a valid point. My first instinct was the newspaper was lying about the phone call.
totally, exactly. Except the fact that the souvenirs arrive.
Oh.
So if you're a big HILF fan, you've been listening like to the Jack the Ripper episode, this starts to sound so much like Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper gutted women. He was very focused on their abdomens, and he taunted the police with a series of letters. And so after the phone call and the expect souvenirs, they're all like, ugh, right, waiting. And on January 21st, this is 6 days after the murder, a package arrives. And to the LA Examiner's credit, as a way to sort of dissuade the idea that the LA Examiner was making this up, or that to support the whatever, they invited all of the newspapers, all of the competitive newspapers to be there as they opened the package, so that it wouldn't, this wouldn't kind of be, there was some feeling.
To make it more believable, but they also made it a big frenzy.
Exactly. So they open the package, okay? And they have an envelope that the words have been cut and pasted from magazines and newspapers.
Yeah.
In fact, the newspapers were all very stoked to say what word or what letter came from theirs.
Of course, that's our font.
Psychos, yeah. It includes Elizabeth Short's birth certificate, her business cards that she had collected, photographs of her with a series of people, several names written on pieces of paper in her handwriting, an address book with the name Mark Hansen embossed on the cover. Mark Hansen is a well-known nightclub owner in Los Angeles. And all of this stuff has also been cleaned with gasoline and scrubbed, and they look for fingerprints and they look for clues, but not only do they not find any, but
these are so random little bits and pieces that I almost feel like would have been in her house.
It was in her suitcase.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's right.
she was sort of somewhat transient.
That's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
So she was somewhat transient. And also you have to think about the importance of an address book.
Yeah, in the times. You need
At the
it on you to
times.
be like, where am I going?
And also she had boyfriends kind of all over the place. It's people who would help her, places where she could stay, places where she might be able to find a meal, places where she might be able to find a lead on a job or begging. I mean, she was literally like, can I have some money for the train kind of gal, right? So this address book was so useful. So wherever she was, she knew who she could contact if she needed help. But clearly only the killer could have this stuff. And clearly it was stuff that she had with her. 3 days after that first package arrived, another postcard arrives to the Examiner. And it says, here it is. I'm turning myself in on Wednesday, January 29th at 10 a.m. Tells them where it says, I had my fun at police. And signs it, the Black Dahlia Avenger. Okay. So 10 a.m., January 29th. All of everybody is gathered around, I think it was a hotel.
Wait, Black Dahlia Avenger makes me think it's someone who's trying to avenge her death.
I had the same thought.
Not someone who did her death.
Yeah, and exactly. The language in this thing even had my fun at police. Like, there is
like
some
it's in a tweet at police.
Yeah, exactly. What are they trying to do here? Yeah, and Black Dahlia Avenger is like avenging the death of Black Dahlia, or like I took my revenge on the Black Dahlia.
Yeah.
It appears there's various meanings and the language isn't.
Well, I'm also trying to say it's okay at the 40s is the language, but still it's not real clear. Okay.
You are a true crime girl. I'm digging completely this. So everyone's like, he's turning himself in, 29th, 10 a.m. And they all go to the place and they wait and they wait and they wait and they wait and they wait. And fuck me, nobody comes. Okay. And by 1 o'clock, the Examiner gets another cut and paste letter that says, I've changed my mind. I know. You would not have given me a square deal. Dahlia killing was justified. What?
Is this just like this is a publicity stunt? It's like the homeboy was never going to show up.
Hard to say. And they scrub this. They look, no fingerprints, nothing that can be lifted from this. This now, girl.
Yeah.
We're back. Okay. This story, front page for 35 days. Oh, 35 days it's on the front page. 750 investigators, 400 sheriff's deputies, 250 California State Patrol. They give a $10,000 reward. That's over $150,000 today.
Wow.
There are over 60 confessions.
Oh my gosh.
In the first year.
But I'm sure they vet them all and it's all like, no, you didn't.
The psychologist said in this, he's like, you have to actually, everyone who confesses, you have to fully investigate because we're sure they want credit.
Yes.
So,
but also they're going to have those details that you mentioned and none of them panned out.
So that was one of the things that made it fairly easy for them to sift through most of them. But then there were 500 plus confessions.
Oh my God.
Within like 20 years. People are still fucking confessing to the murder of the Black Dahlia. And they're just like, good God. Here's the guy who's doing this work at the time. His name is Dr. Deriver. Dr. Deriver. Mm-hmm. He said his name was because he was born on a boat in transit on a river. I'm like, I don't know. But he is the preeminent criminal, sexual, deviant psychologist of the time. He has actually done some great profiles and solved some pretty gnarly murders by just being like there were this horrible case of these little girls that were murdered, and he was like, they had to know the person, they had to feel safe with this person. This person probably feels a lot, like he was able to do what would even by today's standard be considered a reasonable psychological profile. And it is in part with that I am going to now share with you my favorite suspects.
Okay,
I told you we
go.
had
Excited.
60 plus confessions. Yes. Wow. Okay. None of the people, by the way, who confessed did it. None of those are on my list.
They just want credit for like they want to. It's like a test they took. They're like, yeah, I'll take credit for the exam, but I didn't study or take it or
do
know
it.
anything.
You're like, listen, if you didn't actually cut a woman in half, you just aren't able to say you did it, man. Like, you got to live it to be it. This first suspect, if you'd like to know more about this one came from that 48 Hours documentary. A large part of what they were focusing on was this particular suspect. His name is George Hodel.
Oh, we haven't even met him. Okay.
We haven't even met him.
Yeah.
He's our new guy. He was a surgeon.
Check.
Very kind of sinister underworld figure, lived in a beautiful mansion, always surrounded by beautiful women, almost definitely raped his daughter.
Ugh, okay.
Was on she accused him of it, and he went on trial for it, and he was acquitted.
Because we didn't have any evidence.
Right. But
she
the daughter,
said, he
is
said.
still alive and still says that he did. So
Yeah, he did.
He did. He was really good friends with an artist named Man Ray. And Man Ray was like a multimedia visual artist at the time. And some of his works are reminiscent of the way that the Black Dahlia looked when she was found. And I find, by the way, this book, the Pew Eat Well book, is so good. And I don't know if she did this on purpose. She probably did. But when she refers to Elizabeth when she was alive, she talks about Elizabeth Short. And when she talks about her after her death, she talks about the Dahlia.
Oh, interesting.
And there's something that I found kind of comforting about that, because her body was so mistreated, that I prefer to call it the Dahlia.
Separate
kind
this
of let
wonderful
her go
person
from
what
it.
happened to her.
So if you hear me doing that, it's received. It's not like some ray of genius. But when the Dahlia was discovered, there were two things that are reminiscent of very famous Man Ray artworks. One of them is the Minotaur. He did a black and white photograph of the torso and arms of a naked woman, and she has her arms over her head in almost the same shape, and the way the shadows fall on her breasts. The implication is that our guy, George Hodel, who is very good friends with Man Ray, was trying to recreate one of his famous works by having her pose in this way. And the other really famous Man Ray work is called The Lovers, and it's just a pair of big red lips that are unusually wide, as if they've been sliced on the sides, sort of on top of a horizon. And it's this abstract work. But
even if this killer wasn't trying to imitate those things, clearly maybe subconsciously influenced.
Right.
And so, yeah.
And the person who's like bringing George Hodel forward as the top suspect is his son, who was himself an LAPD homicide detective for years.
Wow.
Right? And after he retires from the LA homicide detective, he gets his like dad's belongings. And in and among his belongings is this photograph book of pictures. And he sees these portraits of a woman that look to him like Elizabeth Short.
Whoa.
And he's like, whoa. And why? And his dad, who was such a creep and had so many weird women around him and raped his sister, he was like, what is this? And he's like, I think this is Elizabeth Short. And he also looks at his dad's handwriting, because the killer did this snipping and cutting and pasting on most of the letters, but the one that I'm going to turn myself in wrote it. Which is one of the things the psychologists were like, I think he really did intend to turn himself in. I think it's why he stopped doing one more level of not getting caught. He actually wrote it with his hand, and he's like, I think this is my dad's handwriting too.
Whoa.
So they take the photographs, because 48 Hours is a real documentary crew, and they take it to like a photo, comparison with the official. It's the aughts. We've got some technology, and they're like, I don't think it's her. Like her jaw, it's a dark-haired, beautiful woman with red lip, appears to have makeup on, but her chin is a different shape.
But that doesn't mean he didn't have a type then.
Right. And even he was like, he goes down this rabbit hole with his dad and finds out all of this stuff with Man Ray and these pictures, and he had like weird rooms that he had locked up, and he was a surgeon, and he's just like completely convinced. And then they come back and they're like, but the photograph is definitely not her. And he's like, yeah, but I think the rest of it, he contends
it's enough.
Still,
yeah.
Right? The handwriting experts are like, we don't know if we can confirm it's the handwriting, but this guy, George Hodel's son, is still very convinced it is him. And if you would like to be further convinced it's him, go watch this 48-hour documentary and see what you think. Because even George Hodel's son read the book I read, the Black Dahlia Red Rose, and with Pugh Eatwell's suggestion on who she thinks the highest suspect is. And you know that Pugh Eatwell is a good author and that she did great work because George Hodell's son is like, wow, I think she's wrong, but that's really great. You know? He's like, I still don't believe her conclusions, but damn, what a writer. And that's some great research.
It's my dad, but good try.
Good try, exactly. But you know that it's got to be at least reasonable for him to be like, shit. Oh, that's a good point. So Pugh Eatwell, and the other reason I recommend listening to this book is just because the establishment of the depth of the corruption within the city and the details that she has. She writes very narratively, and she says in the beginning, when you hear snippets of dialogue between two people, I am not making it up. I only include dialogue that was on recordings or was written down in some sort of interview. She's not inferring anything. She's like, if I describe the weather or how somebody may have felt in the heat, it's because I knew the weather that day. And I'm describing how hot it would have been as they walked down the street. Like, I'm not making any of this up. So it's joy.
Well
it's
done.
a joy to read. But she has a suspect. She believes.
Before we jump onto her suspect, can I ask a question?
Please.
How did they basically like exonerate Hodell? How did they decide it couldn't be him?
They didn't.
They just don't have enough to convict him.
Correct. And he's been dead.
Yeah.
He's not, by the time the son said, oh my God, it's my dad, his dad had been dead.
Oh,
for a year.
Because he got his belongings.
Exactly. He got his
right.
belongings from his stepmom and was like, Jesus Christ, did my dad kill the Black Dahlia?
So it's almost like they just can't put him there with her or meeting her or any of that.
And there's no DNA.
It's not because they say, well, it's definitely not. It's just that they can't say it definitely is.
And also there was this, the handwriting experts said the handwriting didn't match.
But he could have been trying to disguise it a little bit.
Exactly.
That'd be easy enough.
So they couldn't confirm it.
Right.
But they can't
deny it either.
Precisely.
Okay.
So the killer that Pugh Eatwell suggests is named Leslie Dillon. And this guy, it's compelling, girl, Mogul. He reaches out to Dr. Deriver, our criminal psychologist who
wants credit.
Who is reaching, and he says, my name is Jack Sand. So he gives an alias. He says, my name is Jack Sand, and I'm
alias.
I know, it's horrible, like yuck. And I didn't do it, but my friend Jeff may have. My friend Jeff Connors, he knew a lot about the Dahlia, and he was telling me about the Dahlia, and I have some suggestions for you on how. And immediately, Dr. Driver is like, right, suspicious.
Go
of this
on,
guy. Right. They find out he is a bellhop. He was a bellhop in Los Angeles during the murder, and he was a former mortician's assistant.
Okay.
They eventually, Dr. Driver's like, yes, we'd be so grateful. Right?
But
to have your help.
He's feeding into the ego.
And he's also getting his chauffeur, let's meet. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to get your evidence. And there's an undercover cop is pretending to be the chauffeur. So they're also not showing Jack Sands that we are investigating you, but we're going to have a ton of fucking cops around. They're bugging every room before he goes into it, that kind of stuff. And they're like, so what do you think? How do you think they would do? He goes, well, I think it was done in a hotel room. Jeff said, and I think it was done in a hotel room. And he goes, why do you think it was done in a hotel room? He's like, well, you could have strung him up in the bathtub. And that way, the majority of the waste could have been washed away or at least contained. This part, I'm just going to tell you what happened because this is what Pugh Eatwell said happened, and I don't understand it. Dr. Deriver says to Leslie Dillon, it's just us men here. Do you mind if you take off your shirt? I just want to see what your chest looks like. Right. And he's like, oh, of course. One man to another man. Why not? And he sees he's very well built. Part of what he wanted to see, he was kind of tall and thin, but he wanted to see how strong he was, right? And he looks like a guy who could, I don't know. I have no idea. But then he says, could I see your lower units? Would you mind taking off your pants and underwear so I can see?
Lower units is
good
hilarious.
Lord. So he does, and Dr. Deriver is like, he has a juvenile penis. Just like I thought. He has a little penis, and I figured he's very strong with a little penis. This further confirms my suspicion because the killer would be very self-conscious, and if she humiliated him sexually in any way, his strength could take over, and then he would want to humiliate her. by having her spread eagle fucking dead on a sidewalk. Like, that's a way to get back at this bitch.
Interesting.
It also explains like the Avenger part. This is, Dr. Driver's contention.
I like to be a little fly on the wall on how they convinced this guy that as he's reporting on his friend who did it.
Well, and then he says he put things in her vagina and her anus, the things that were supposed to be unknown.
Oh,
he also knows things that are unknown about the murder.
Okay,
right?
well, this is interesting.
Very convincing. And the doctor at this point is like, boy, all right, we got our guy. Turns out he's also an associate with Mark Hansen. That name.
In the address book.
That was in the address book.
It was like embossed or whatever.
Right. Yeah. And that there is this idea is that one of the corrupt police officers, Finis Brown, and this Jeff Connors guy and Mark Hansen were conspiring together to rob hotels.
Okay.
And that he was a bellhop. So he would help them like find the rooms that might have had a lot of cash and like, pay off the cop, get the guy who does it. Like, this was their whole thing. And that he now has a connection to the name in the book. It's all lining up.
It's like basically that's motive and opportunity. Motive being the tiny penis and strength.
Completely.
And then opportunity being he was there because he was a
bellhop. Well, and then they're like, but what hotel? Then they find out that Leslie Dillon, had been staying off and on at the Astor Hotel, which at the time was like the seediest. Like, yes, we love prostitutes here. Like a very open to the nefarious underworld.
Yeah.
And that the caretakers and owners of the Astor Hotel had found in cabin 3 a crime scene on January 15th. Blood and feces all over the room, all over the bed. They had to burn a bunch of sheets, all these clothes. And that when the cops came, because they run prostitution. So when the cops came and said anything weird happened here, they don't want to be like, we think someone was murdered. There was a bunch of blood, because that just brings more cops to the hotel and more scrutiny. Exactly.
I know that we're talking about the 30s and 40s, and it was for sure called prostitution, but I understand now we're supposed to say sex work, right?
Yes. I think that's probably right. Yes.
Yeah. This is just a note.
I think it's
keep thinking it, but I was like, maybe we should say, I don't know, if we call Elizabeth before death Elizabeth and after death Dahlia,
I think that's fair.
In the 30s it can be prostitution. And also, if it was talking about now, it's sex work.
Also, there's something about, it's like, what's the difference between I make booze and I'm a bootlegger? It was totally illegal. Like, it's still illegal now, but there is such a thing as legal sex work to an extent now. There was no legal sex work. So it might also be like, bootlegging is not making whiskey if you're doing it in 1920. Right. You know what I mean? So I don't know. In any event, no disrespect. Make your money, girl.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Right? So these are all like, and you read the book. I read the book. I'm like, Leslie Dillon, done.
Yeah.
Sealed the case. Okay.
But
some issues with it. Obviously,
she's
a great author. She's an excellent historian. But you do read it and just take what she says, because you're kind of like, she read it.
You can't debate her.
She is also not including probably some stuff that maybe doesn't necessarily comport to it. And our online sleuths and various other Dahlia experts have pointed to the fact that the LAPD did appear to vigorously investigate Leslie Dillon. Okay. And among the things they found is that this guy, Jeff Connors, did exist. And they found him and he had an alibi. So they were like, it's not an alter ego. Dr. Driver was convinced that like Leslie Dillon was making up Jeff Connors as an alternate, because he's not Jack Sand either. And he was known to like make up aliases, and he was just making up a name of a killer, but the killer was actually him. And that was like the beating heart of his theory. Then they find this guy, Jeff Connors, who didn't do it. And like, oh.
He could have just like lacked creativity for a friend's name and just wanted to like, okay, well, this guy works.
Right, totally. Also, they could have been, I mean, the LAPD is not great, let's be honest. They're just bad at everything. They're either corrupt or inept around every corner. So like, who knows? He also has an alibi. He's in San Francisco the night before it's confirmed. They know he wasn't there. Now, when did she die? When does he go? What does he know? Who knows? Then there's some people who are like, she completely exaggerates. He wasn't a mortician's assistant. He was an ambulance driver. It was totally different. But like, I read the book, he was a mortician's assistant. So, and he says, what he did in the mortician's work. So it's a long time ago. Data's different.
Dang, they both look good.
They both look good. You just can't say for sure. I mean, these are very good theories. They're very interesting. I encourage you to look through them both. But there is yet another possibility.
Wait, what?
It's possible that the Dahlia was just one of other crimes that took place across the country that were known as the torso murders. The Cleveland torso murders. Girl, I mean, you understand. You start falling down this rabbit hole and you're like, I don't want to be down here anymore. It's so dark down here. The Cleveland torso murders, man, basically the 30s and 40s, they just be finding torsos around Cleveland like goddamn, beads. The quantity of torsos they found in Cleveland over the course of like a 10 years. But it was men and women. And this also provoking the police. Elliot Ness, the untouchable, the famous Elliot Ness that you may or may not know from like 1930s. He was there with John Dillinger. He shot John Dillinger. Okay. Elliot Ness is working in Cleveland at the time, and some of the torsos were found within sight of his office. Like the killer is like, fuck you, catch me if you can, right? But again, the bodies are men and women. Some of them were treated with chemicals. They were scrubbed. Their bodies were scrubbed and treated with like gasoline and various like bleaches to the point where their skin looked weird. But and they're all transient. They're all like people that nobody's going to look for kind of stuff. So dead, nude, a lot of them women, like it checks the boxes, but not cut in half at the waist, spread eagle with their arms over their head. Like,
yeah. And also this feels more specific. Like, I don't know what the timing of those was, but like I could see that as like practices before this or something, or like before they got more advanced. But also the location, again, we talk about how easy it is to get from one place to the other, like how not easy it was. Like, I don't know.
There's everything about it from the way she was found to where she was found. Like if you are trying to get rid of a body, you do not lay her lower units a foot away from her upper units with her arms spread over her head.
You want that found.
You want it found.
In the middle of a field.
You want it found in the middle of a field. And you want her, the person that you killed, to be deeply humiliated, right? Yeah. You want to scare people, I think. I think there's a lot of like, it could happen to you, intimidation, right? Also, I don't think you do this one time.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to be like, this is not a one-off.
I don't think that you go from like... being a copywriter to killing your first person and doing it like that and then never killing anyone again.
Right. Never. Like there's not, that's why when you were talking about, was it George and Hardell?
Leslie. Yes. George Hodel and Leslie Dillon.
Yeah. Can we link them to other crimes? Because that would be more compelling. Yeah. Because like you said, it's not a one and done situation.
Not really. Exactly. And this isn't like, ooh, botched burglary. I shot her.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I get that. We actually kind of get that. This is not that.
No.
You know what I mean? And also she was gone for a week. That missing week is a whole thing. And they tried to find the contents of her stomach to see if she'd been drugged. I mean, that was another thing Leslie Dillon said, is he always had like various kinds of opioids around so he could like drug people. I mean, but then they looked for contents of this in her stomach, but it wasn't as sophisticated as we can do now. And let's not forget the condition of her stomach. So things are perhaps not there. But then the other theory is we will just never know. And this is where we start to dangle a toe into the modern conspiracy era, which just generally believes that the perpetrator or perpetrators are highly trained, very elite, sadist, Satanist, cultists with deep pockets, who could bribe the right cop, destroy the right evidence, the quantity of evidence that just goes away and nobody can explain why, just disappears, file disappears. There is an amazing character named Aggie Underwood, who is a female crime reporter who is fucking awesome. You're going to really enjoy getting to know her, who does some nefarious journalist stuff, as we've already indicated, but like she also does a real like, you can tell me, sweetheart. Wouldn't it just be nice to get it off your chest? There's a element. And she got kicked off the case out of the blue, no reason, as she's making gains and doing really well. And so she comes into the office with her needlework and just sits there. with this hoop and starts doing needlework while everyone's around her talking until they're like, she really does know more about this than anyone else. She had got further than anyone else. And it was really suspicious that she was taken off the case.
Yeah, I'll
So
say.
they put her back on, but unofficially and at a very high level.
Okay.
Okay. This is among the things that are pointed to that like somebody's weird kid, some billionaire's weird psycho son is out there butchering these women and just paying off and covering up so that we will never know.
Interesting. Okay.
If there is some good news from the Don. And girl,
Thank goodness.
I looked, I was like, God damn, I can't end this fucking thing with, well, sleep tight, everybody. And it still happens, only it's on islands now, and we never know their names.
God.
Can't end like that.
No.
It's not a huge piece of good news. Don't get too excited. It's the best I could find.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, your efforts are appreciated.
Thank you. In the course of this trial and in the psychological profile and the effort to build a psychological profile for the potential killer and knowing that previous sex offenses are the best indicator that someone is going to offend again, California, after the Black Dahlia murder, instigates the first ever sex offender registry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's something.
Yeah.
You're
so
right.
we have a sex offender registry because of this, which has probably, prohibited people from taking advantage.
Yeah. It's probably slowed or stopped something.
It's probably slowed or stopped many crimes.
When did that happen? Did you already give me?
I believe it went into effect still in the 1940s, 1950s,
Okay.
that you had to tell your neighbors, I am bad
Yeah.
news,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that was on you. It wasn't even like the cops had to tell everybody. It was on you. You had to do it. And state by state.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I thought I'd walk out of this, listening to this and have more of a definitive, this is who I think.
Yeah.
I'm really torn.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But not as torn as Elizabeth. Oh, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I'm sorry, Elizabeth. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to stop you short there.
Oh no! Why are we doing it?
This was
Anyway,
crazy.
crazy.
I mean, the I have to just compliment
welcome.
your detail,
Oh.
your detail and reporting.
Thanks.
Yeah, I was riveted.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, it's really terrible. I don't like doing any. I don't want to do any more of this
She
true
says
crime
with a
stuff for a
big
while.
smile.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so grateful that you came and gave me all of this time. And I know everyone's going to keep up with you and see all of your videos. And
This
they're
is so
going
fun.
to listen to your podcast.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks again to Kaycee Conlee. You should go right now and follow her and dig in on her podcast and then go see her live. Okay, links to that and more are all in the show notes. As for me, your next new episode is right around the corner. And if you're in the Los Angeles area, of course, you can always catch HILF Public School, the live and interactive version of this podcast, which happens on the first Thursday of the month at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank. And it's so fun. And I'm totally in love with doing it. And you got to stop and say hi when you come, okay? Until next time, our theme song was composed and performed by Kat Perkins. Artwork for HILF is designed by Joe Dressel. And a reminder that you can find my sources, links to the books, documentaries, and articles I reference in the summary of this episode, or by emailing us, hilfpodcast@gmail.com, or messaging us on social media @hilfpodcast. If you'd like to leave a little cash on the nightstand, I'd love that. You can find me on Patreon or buy me a coffee. Links to these and more are all in the show notes. And this has been HILF, History I'd Like to Fuck with Dawn Brody. I'm Dawn Brody, reminding you that history is a party and everybody's coming.